biggest change that needs to happen within organizations is this idea of taking the loyalty leap, which was really a statement for us of saying, if you, even as a marketer, and even with meeting with hundreds of companies that are marketing and customer-centric organizations, the real reality is when you spend time sitting down with a grocer or retailer, someone out there who's, even somebody like an Apple sometimes is, the fact of the matter is they're generally more what I call product obsessed on the left side of this than they are necessarily on the right side, which would be this idea of being customer committed. Now, if you're in a product leadership role, if you're really trying to differentiate along the value discipline of product leadership, you don't necessarily need to pay attention to the customer because you have to be out in front of them.
Right, and that's what Apple always did so well.
Right, but if you're not, if you're really in a space where you tend to have this horrible skew of going back to a product-centric view or an operational efficiency type approach, then the issue that you have is, how do you change the language around the organization? How do you begin to transform the way that you think about your business in a different way? And what I talk about in the book is this sense of needing to free up the customer information that exists in the organization and begin to actually share that more broadly through the company so that all parts of the organization can participate in a conversation around how to transform that customer experience. That's the first step. Actually, the first step's even a step before that, which is you need to get the executive suite talking about what would happen, what are the opportunities, are we willing to explore the types of decisions we may make differently if we were to take a more customer-centric and customer data-driven approach to how we made decisions in the company. A classic example of that is one which is often in merchandising cycles where when you look at the traditional way that a retailer, and I stay in retail grocery primarily, well, two reasons. One, I spent a lot of time with them over my life in marketing. And the second reason is because most of us can kind of align behind that because we understand the experience in store all the time. When they're making a decision, which is what products do I delist, right? I've got a new product coming in, I need to get rid of a product. Quite often the first default they go to is what product is turning over the least, so what's got the least amount of sales. Whereas if they really thought about it from a customer view, what they'd started by doing is saying, who are my best customers and what are my best customers buying in this category? Because in delisting the lowest turning product, the lowest turnover product, you may be delisting the product which 50% of your best customers actually purchase. It's just you're not making that connection.
Right.
So it's a good example of where you need to filter through and really think about, okay, how does customer information begin to change the way I may make decisions in different parts of my operation, and change the way I think about how I bring the experience that I'm delivering to life in the marketplace overall.